Frank has issued an SOS to the Toffees board after warning them that another relegation fight's in store. They went down 4-0 to Minnesota United on Wednesday. Earlier we spoke to Dom King, Northern football correspondent of the Daily Mail, about the defeat.
I thought that result was absolutely shocking, and it couldn't have come at the worst possible time. This is nothing on Frank. This is nothing on his coaching staff. A few calls about it yesterday, and someone made the analogy to me. What he's trying to do at the minute, it's like a carpenter working with blunt tools. It's impossible. This is the same squad that struggled for 2 years and more. He's desperately in need of reinforcements, and I thought there are defeats. You've been in them when in pre-season, when you know what it's all about in terms of trying to get your energy. You've been training in the morning.
Yeah. Different
conditions over there and whatnot, but I thought 4-0 in Minnesota was a scoreline that will have fans who are already anxious and frustrated about the way things are going even more upset.
It got me thinking, Neil, when I heard the result. I said, find me the team, the starting 11, and I was shocked. It was a decent side they had out, a real decent side. And then I thought, well, it's pre-season, but then I heard what Frank said. The players have to understand we're in a relegation fight for the majority of last season. They must be up for the fact they have to fight to play in this side. So he was clearly angry, Neil. Do we take a lot of notice of that, a result like that, 4-0 by MLS side?
I think so. I mean, well, listen, I used to have trained really hard in the morning, before we played pre-season games. It wasn't going to be the results. It was the fitness and building up. So that's done there. But I don't like listening to words that Frank's saying at the minute. I just think last year I felt a bit sorry for him, if I'm honest. I didn't think it was a job for a young lad, for a young man, and he's done well, but he's not had many sort of disappointments in his career, and you've got to learn from them. And like you say, he's not had help with the squad. He hasn't got a big squad. To lose his top scorer, he'll be decimated. But you've still got to organise your side and get a side, and you can't tell me that the side that he had out couldn't have done better. So he has to look at, listen, forget about the disappointment, and he's got to get on with his job now and think, right, I'll show him I can get a result with any team, anybody that's in the team. You look at his 1-11, it isn't bad. So, should he got more out of them, that 11 that started? I think it's, I understand where they're coming from, but, he spent 400 odd million, hasn't he, over the last 3 or 4 years at Everton. So you can't say he's not spending it, but it just seems to have been misguided for me. And I'm a big fan of, I like Bill Kenwright, and I know he gets all the stick when things like this happen. But it doesn't look good at this stage of the season, and we've all been there pre-season, and you say that, but you've got to be careful what you say publicly.
Yeah.
I think when as a young manager, you come out because you want to cover for yourself. You want to stick up for yourself. So when you say they've got to show more fight, that should be in dressing room.
Of course it should.
That should be, Trev knows, that's got to be one-on-one, facing you, pointing your finger at them. And, you've got to dig them out in that dressing room.
It can't always be the manager, can it, Neil?
No. It's got to be senior players.
Yeah, experienced players. Just looking at the forward line there, I mean, not so much the wing, because I think they've got decent talent there, especially with Gordon on the right-hand side. But Richarlison's gone. You've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who played hardly any football last season, and you've got Solomon Rondon as the number 2, number 9. I mean, they surely need to invest in that area. And is the relationship with Frank and Kevin Felwell, who's in charge of recruitment, how important is that at the moment? Because we've got, 40 days to go of the transfer window. Surely they need to strengthen that.
It's fast, isn't it? I mean, no disrespect, like you say, he didn't play much football last year. And if you look at them two, if he's not functioning and Rondon, no disrespect to Rondon,
exactly,
but you wouldn't worry about playing him in the Championship, let alone the Premiership. So I think they've got to have something up the sleeve. They can't go into the season with those two. Just those two up front, I think it's impossible.
Yeah, and Dele Alli played a part towards the back end of last season. How important is it for Everton that he just recaptures a little bit of that form?
Yeah,
that he
I
had
think I've got a good feeling about him this year. I know he missed a sit the other night, but I just got a good feeling about him, mate. He's been slaughtered up and down Dale. It's obviously helps you when you're Dele Alli when you come into a good side. So he's had quite a lot to put up with. But I think he could be the bright spark if they could get the strikers sorted out, and they could hold the ball up and let him make his runs. I still think you don't just lose that. He's just been misguided the last 18 months, 2 years, hasn't he, really? And he's had no manager that's really put an arm around him and really give him that confidence. And I think he's one of them that he needs a cuddle at times, I think, Dele Alli, from
he had a tough upbringing, didn't he? If you look into his history, a real tough upbringing.
Yeah.
I just think I'd like to see some decent people around him, to be honest. I keep going on about why would you want to turn up in a Rolls Royce, your first day? People say, you're a dinosaur. I don't care. You don't do that for me. You just don't do it. I'm sorry.
Mine were a Morris Minor, mine.
Well, I get a taxi or something, but his agent's got to look at that and
Alan,
say...
I'm not saying I'm getting on, but my indicator used to flick up on outside and light up.
I think as a player,
have you still got that starting handle? Have you kept that as a relic?
Yeah, just in case.
I think as a player, you come in, you want to go in there and let your football do the talking. And before you've even kicked a ball or met the players, you're bowling in the car park in a Rolls Royce. It just doesn't send out the right message, does it?
No.
But you see that. In fairness, it's not just now, is it, it's Trevor? It's always been there. There's always been somebody in that squad, hasn't there, that thinks they're better. They're better than others, and they do something. Whether it's the clothes that they wear that's outlandish or.
But you get away with it, Neil, don't you? If you start banging goals in and you're the top man and you're the star and you raise all the spirits up, then no one's going to whinge. But when you're fighting relegation and you're getting pulled, you're 1 minute you're on and up comes your number, off you get, people.
Oh, there's these type of people that when you're having a go at them, you shout at them or something like that, they turn around and say, well, how many millions have you got in bank? It used to be how many caps have you got on the table, but not now. It's how many millions you got in the bank.
How many private jets?
talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil. Thursday and Friday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.